Guys, this is Kat. Welcome to my brand new channel, Arty Kat. A-R, capital T, Kat. Anyway, this is my new channel. I have another channel called Crafty Kat, where I've been uploading videos for a few years now. But I am really into art now, and my other channel is more for crafts and unboxings, and I thought I want a new channel just dedicated to my artwork, so here we are. Welcome. I hope you will like it. Now, I am not an artist. I am just someone who is on an art journey. I'm 61 years old, and I have always loved art since I was a kid. And unfortunately, my high school didn't have an art department. I was at an all-girls Catholic high school, and the only way to get art was to go to the all-boys Catholic high school. So, of course, every student in the whole school applied for art, and I tried for 3 years, and I never got selected to go. So it wasn't until I transferred to a public high school in grade 12 that I was able to take art, and I loved it. And my art teacher, Mr. Neal, was great. And some of my little doodles, they even asked if they could use them for the yearbook. So I was like illustrating the yearbook back in 12th grade, or grade 12, as we say here in Canada. And Mr. Neal encouraged me to go on in art, and I didn't. And I really regret that to this day. And the reason I didn't was because I had a boyfriend who went to school for art, and then we broke up. And I thought, he's going to think I'm just following him if I also apply to the college in my town that had the nice art program. So I didn't. If I could go back, you guys, I would definitely take that art class. Who knows, you know? But anyway, I became a teacher instead, and I taught. I'm retired now. All these years later, I am 61 years old now. It is 2025 as I'm recording this. It's November 2025. And in 2019, I decided, you know what? I want to get back into art. And I did dabble a little bit before that here and there, but nothing that stuck, you know? But in 2019, I bought an iPad and I downloaded Procreate, and I loved it so much. And I did a lot of art on Procreate. And I'll put a few pictures right here. Not a lot, just a Here's one I painted following a tutorial by James Julier. And here's one of my own without a tutorial. I was just looking at reference photos. And here's one my cousin Johnny asked me to paint for him based on one of his photos. So those were some of my Procreate. I've got lots. And a lot of these I did following tutorials. James Julier Art Tutorials was one of my favorite places. But there were other channels on YouTube that I also really liked too. But anyway, I was really having fun, and I thought, I want to get paint and paint. Like, I want to do it myself, and I just want hands-on. So I bought some watercolor pencils, and I did some sketches, just simple ones. I can put a few pictures here. So I did these in watercolor pencil back in 2022. That's when I got into doing watercolor pencil art, and I had a lot of fun with it. So they weren't great, but I had fun, and it really made me want to do more. I bought some acrylic paint from there, and I'll put a few of my pictures here that I did. I followed tutorials to make these acrylic ornaments, and then for these I just did them on my own with bird pictures that I took myself. And I painted this for my mom and dad's anniversary. They really like it. And I will bring you and show you the actual pictures, but they're set up in my house now. Some are on the wall. Some are just leaning, you know, on cabinets. So I will do a tour one day and show you that. But for now, I just wanted to kind of say who I am and what this channel is going to be about. So this channel is going to be a lot about paint supplies, a lot of watercolor. This Winsor & Newton Cotman set was the first paint set that I bought. And it has been well loved. I don't remember if I bought this in 2019 or 2020, but it was around there. It was during the start of the pandemic, I believe. I can't remember exactly. But here's my little swatching sheet. So I don't know if you could see, but the Winsor & Newton, they have really beautiful, really super translucent colors. They're a lovely way to get started. They're not that expensive. And I think I had a 40% off or a 50% off coupon when I bought these. And I don't know if you could see, but there's just tiny little indentations. And I have used these a lot. And I didn't just use these at home. These were my favorite ones to take out when I tried to do plein air painting outside. Plein air painting is so much harder for me than painting in my room or at my desk in my little art studio. So my little art studio is the corner of an attic with a slanty ceiling where I hit my head every time I stand up. But it's really cute, and I will do a little video of that in the future to show you. But I just wanted to show you my first watercolors. And if you're like me, and if you've always wanted to get back into art and you didn't know where to start, I really do recommend these Winsor & Newton Cotmans, especially if you can get them on sale for a 50% off coupon at Michael's. Yeah, it came with this teeny tiny little brush. I don't use this brush very often when I'm home, but I do tend to use it when I'm out. And it's really cute because it has this little, it's like a little water tray that you could put in. So you could use that to dip your water, and you can use this as the mixing tray. And it's got a lot of room, and it even has a little pull-out area where you could put your thumb in. It's kind of stiff because I don't do that even when I'm out. I never paint like that. I don't know if you can see how shaky I am. So I always have to paint with it set down on my knee at least. So I never open this little drawer. But this little drawer will also give you some extra mixing spaces. But I don't use that. But if you're, you can see how klutzy I am. If you're more stable, you know, at carrying things than I am, you would really like that. But anyway, I'm not telling you to go out and get this. But I'm saying if I would start this all over again, I would definitely buy this over again. This is one of the sets, even though I have other sets of paints that are professional and these are more student grade. I always come back to this little case because I really like it. Anyway, so that's just a little brief introduction. And I want to show you my latest art that I did for Inktober. This is going to be a little sketchbook tour. I thought I would show you my latest sketchbook. I did 31 paintings in 31 days for Inktober, and I chose Mousetober because last year I also did Mousetober and I loved it. And last year was the first year I was ever able to finish Inktober. And that's because they give you a different word every day that you need to draw. And I find the words really boring unless you add a mouse. Next year I might do a cat instead because like my name is Kat. But for the first 2 years, 2024, 25, I did Mousetober. So let's take a look. Oh, and also, I also used AI to animate my drawings, so I will include some of that here. I didn't animate every drawing, but I did animate a lot. So day one of Mousetober was mustache or moustache. So I did this little guy. And if there is an animation for these, I will show it right after, okay? And I won't talk through the animation. The next day was weave. And oh, by the way, for all of these, I used my Cotman fine liners. And I really love how this one turned out. And this is how I meant to do the whole of Inktober. Just in black and white, just using pen. And this book was only $10.99. It's an Amazon Basics sketchbook from Amazon. And it's not for watercolor, but it is nice and thick. Day 3 was crown. I know I didn't animate this one because I wasn't happy with it. And I used alcohol marker just to put a little wee bit of color because I wanted to test the alcohol marker on this paper. But one, I don't have a lot of experience with alcohol marker, like any, other than swatching it. And the other, it bled through. So I thought, no, this is not a good book for alcohol markers. The next day was murky. And I needed some color in this because I needed to show the murkiness of the water. So I did a scuba diving mouse. And I used my Derwent. Isn't that nice? I love the Derwent. And I got these on sale at Staples locally for half price. Oh, and I know I have an animation for this one, so I'll put that up. And day 5 was quite ironic because it's deer mouse. So I did a mouse with deer horns or antlers, I guess. And I accidentally grabbed my Sharpie instead of my Cotman fine liner. So I was not happy with how this turned out. And you can see where I switched over to the fine liner from the thicker things. But yeah. Now, what's ironic about this, I don't even know if I should say it. This is really embarrassing. But for October, I painted a different mouse every day for 31 days. And in November, I've been live trapping a different mouse every day for 5 days in a row now. And they're deer mice, and they're super cute. But I've been trapping them and putting them outside and sending them on their way with a handful of bird seeds to start their new little stash outside, hopefully. And I'll put a picture of a real deer mouse here so you can see how cute they are. On day 6, I decided I wanted to go with color, and I think I just kept going more colorful after this. So it was Pierce, so I did a cheese fondue. So he's piercing the bread and dipping it in the cheese. I really like this one. And I think I used my Winsor & Newton for these ones. So yeah, I really enjoy the Winsor & Newton, you guys. Day 7 was Starfish. This was one of my favorite ones, and I used Derwent for this, and a little wee bit of the yellow from the Winsor & Newton for the moon, and to lighten some of the sand. The Derwent, not Inktints, the Derwent Graphitint is Graphitint. I keep calling it Inktints. It's not. It's Graphitint. It's great because it's a very moody looking paint, and it's really nice for night scenes. Day 8 was Reckless, so I did a little Reckless driver. And I used, I think I used my Bic pens, my colored pens for this, and then I didn't like it. So I went over this with both the Derwent and I think just the red for the Winsor & Newton. The next day was Heavy, so he's carrying over home a heavy pumpkin from the pumpkin patch. And I wasn't happy with this mouse because to me he looks more like a kangaroo. But he's still cute. And the next day was Sweep. And I really like this art style. And I want to do more of this next year. Even if I choose a different animal, I really like this style where it's just a little bit of color mixed with the line drawings. I think it's pretty. I had fun doing this one. I don't know what style this is, but I like it. And the next day was Sting, so I did a Bumblebee Mouse hybrid. He's so cute. And the animation that AI did for this one was really cute. I hope you like it. And the next day was Shredded. And I can't remember if I used my Cotmans or if I was already using the set that I bought off Amazon for $30. It's just one of those alphabet soup ones. It's called Tix Bouquet. I think it would be better if they called it Tick Space, but that's a horrible name too. But anyway, this is like a bamboo. I bought it because of the box. Let me show you. You want to see? It's got a really nice box. Hang on, I've got to pull it out of the thing off camera there. It's got a really, really nice wooden box. And it came with a swatching card. And you can see how bright and vibrant these colors are. So the first 1, 2, 3, 4 rows plus these two are your normal colors. And then this row, this row, this row, and this gray one are all sparkly metallics. Then we have a row of neon and a row of what they call candy, but I believe are pastel. So these are a lot of fun. And I also got a free watercolor paper. And I did just some swatching on the paper to see how it looks. And it looks really nice. So you could see what some of the colors look like in this. And then I also tested just drawing and going over it. I wanted to see if I could draw with my Keyman fine liners if the water over it would make it, like sometimes on some paper, like this paper that I've been using in this book, you have to wait a while before you go over it with water or you'll smudge it. But this didn't smudge at all, and I didn't wait at all. And look at these beautiful metallics. Aren't they pretty? I hope my camera is picking it up. But anyway, I thought that was really nice. And here, I'll show you what it looks like. So I will do a review of this for the channel. And I left a mess in here. So that's what it looks like on the inside. So while I do recommend the Winsor & Newton as a really great student grade introductory kit, if you want all of the colors, this is pretty nice. I mean, but this isn't, I don't even think this is student grade, but it's nice and it's fun and it's perfect for sketchbooks. The only thing is, if you want colors that are going to last, so you want something that goes up on your wall, I would go with the Winsor & Newton. So if you want to do things that you're giving away as a gift, because these are more light fast. But if you just want to have fun in a sketchbook, these are awesome. And they come with water brushes and a regular brush and a little area where you could mix and a sponge. But to be honest, I just fell in love with how it looks. Isn't that cute? So let me just put this up here. You can't see it because we're looking at the sketchbook right now. But anyway, the animation for this one came out really nicely. And I don't remember if I used the new paint set or the Winsor & Newtons for this one. But I do know that I used the new paint set for this one. Because you can see all the metallic-y colors. Plus I don't have it near me, but I have a little tiny set of metallics with 6 colors in them that I bought off Amazon as well. And that is in here as well. But it didn't have purple, so the purples are from a different kit. But you can see the sparkles in here. So this day was drink, so I did a little witch with her magic potions, and she's testing them. And AI had a very hard time animating this. I think I tried 3 times, and it just wasn't working out. So I'll show you the best one. Day 14 was trunk, and I used the new set again. And I just used the golden glow to show the gold and the trunk, because I wanted the trunk to stand out. I don't know if it's showing. So in my mind, when he opened it, the gold cast a glow all the way around. So I'll show you the animation. Is pretty cute. And look at this guy. He's my Indiana Jones mouse. He's so cute. Now, when I say he's so cute, I don't mean my drawing is so cute. I mean the idea of an Indiana Jones mouse with a little hat and a backpack looking for gold. I think the idea is really cute. Day 15 was ragged, and I was very unhappy with this. I must have been in a bad day that day. I hated this, and I was going to do it again. And then I didn't do it again, and then the next day I came back, and I really liked it. So yeah, weird. So my ragged mouse. And oh, AI had fun animating this one, you guys. I used 2 different programs, OpenAI and a place called DVid AI. And I think this was DVid AI. And they had him walk right off the path that I did and drew him a whole new path, which was funny. And this one was Blender. And I thought, wow, how am I going to make a mouse doing a blender? Which is like a mistake, like a silly mistake. So I thought, what if he's trying to parachute off this cliff to the bottom using a dandelion puff, but a puff of wind brings him up instead of down. So I animated it that way, and then I felt really bad for the mouse, so I animated it again where he lands safely on the ground. I'll show you both if I can find them. And I just use very light muted colors because this is not watercolor paper, and I didn't want to go over, like these are all mostly single layers. I added a few more layers down here, but mostly up here it's like a single layer of wet on wet. Day 17, the word was ornate, so I did like an evil queen looking into the magic mirror saying mirror mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all type of queen. And she didn't like the answer, so she's getting her poison apple ready. And in my mind, the princess from earlier on was the one who was more fair than her. But to be fair, she's prettier than the Princess Mouse. And she's got also the sparkly new colors for ornate. So I did the ornate frame and the crown and the gown. And this was such a mistake, you guys. So, remember I told you, if you don't wait long enough for these to dry, to add water, they smear? I didn't even have to add water before they smeared. As I was drawing, I moved my hand and it just smeared everything. The eyes just smeared right across. So originally there was no chair. I had to paint the chair in to hide all the smudges. But actually it looks pretty cool the way it looks on the desk. So the word was deal. That's my least favorite mouse, but he's not bad. The next day was Arctic, or Arctic. So I did a little mouse heading into the Arctic. I had fun doing this one, and I used the new bamboo 100 color set. And I really like the way the colors in the igloo came out. And by this day, I was getting the hang of painting with watercolor on this non-watercolor paper a little bit better. Day 20, the word was rivals. So obviously a cat and a mouse are rivals. But I thought, well, that would be boring just doing a cat and a mouse. So they are having a little gaming rivalry with an old-fashioned game, a console game. And the cat is unhappy because in my mind, the mouse was winning. So in my mind, they have to get the mouse to go to the cheese and then the cheese to go in the bucket and come out. And because the mouse has an extra arrow, he was just a little bit ahead. So I asked AI to animate this a couple times. I'll show you what that came out with. And I think it's really charming. So the next day, the word was blast. I have a mouse blasting off to see if the moon really is made of cheese. And I used the new sparkly watercolors, the new metallics in my bamboo set. I don't know if the camera's showing how pretty that is. The sparkly colors. And AI, I asked AI to have the mouse rocket to the moon, and AI had the mouse rocket right past the moon into another scene that it drew, which was pretty cool, so I kept it. So I always had fun seeing what they would do, and a lot of it's my fault because you have to tell it exactly what you want, and if you don't do it well, they just interpret it how they want. So sometimes it's really funny what they come up with. The next day was button. So I did a little girl mouse who is madly in love and wants to buy this little mouse toy with the sewn on buttons. And I used the new set for that too. And I put a little bit of sparkle in her dress and in her hair bow, but nowhere else. And the animation's really darling. Day 23, the word was firefly. And I only had 15 minutes that day to paint anything at all. So it was my dad's birthday. He turned 86 that day. So in 15 minutes, I sketched this. I went over it with fine liner. I painted it. And yeah. And then later on that evening, after all our family had gone home, we had family in the afternoon. Then we all went out for supper. We went for Chinese food. And then we had family back to our house for, we had 2 different kinds of cakes and pies and all kinds of desserts. And then at night before I went to bed, I asked AI to animate it. And I know my fireflies aren't that good. They're like just little doodles. But AI couldn't tell what was ahead and what wasn't, so they're going in reverse. So I said, the mouse is jumping up trying to catch the fireflies. I'll show you, but it's pretty funny. All right. So day 24 was rowdy. So I did some rowdy teen mice. This little guy has a car, and I used my markers that day. And it looks okay, I guess, but it's kind of messy looking. I really prefer the look of the watercolor to the marker. And a lot of that's just me not knowing how to use it. I got a little bit better for the girl mouse because I started over on this side. So by the time I got here, I was getting a better handle on it. So anyway, I don't like the way this came out, but a lot of my cousins really like this. And my one cousin in particular, she loves the 50s. And she says, oh, you make 50s mice. But in my mind, they were 80s mice, and I give them headbands. But you know what? I guess they do look more like 50s mice. But I thought the 80s mice, the big hair. But I think it's because of the skirt. I should have given her blue jeans. But I'd already done some blue jeans here, so I wanted to draw just a little skirt showing the motion. And I asked AI to have the music playing. This is supposed to be a flat tire. I don't know if you could see because it's hidden in the dark. But there's a jack and there's some tools and he's taking a break listening to music. And I wanted her dancing. But AI would not make her dance, but have her jumping for joy instead. So the animation's cute. But you could see this book is not good for marker. So not only did it bleed through on that side, it even bled through to this page. So I had to just move this one over. And it even bled over here a little bit. So anyway, oh yeah, the word this day, day 25, was inferno. And I'm going with a cutesy mouse theme and Halloween theme. I thought, how can I make an inferno? So this is what I came up with, a firefighter mouse and a pumpkin on fire. And I didn't wait long enough to paint, and I smudged the black from the fine liner again. So I had to add all the smoke, plus some of the black from here had gone through here. So I had to disguise that as like smoke from the fire. I mean, I could have cut this page out, but I didn't want to. And it's okay. So I'll show you the animation. And then I was so unhappy with the 2 previous days that I went back to the light colors that I prefer for this season, like for this series anyway. And the word was puzzling, so I did a mouse looking for clues for the missing puzzle pieces. And I forgot how to draw a puzzle. I forgot what a puzzle looked like. I didn't look at any references for the puzzle. And how on earth did I forget what puzzle pieces look like, you guys? So when AI animated it, they thought this was water. Oh, well. Can't blame them. It does kind of look like water puddles. But I do like how that mouse came out. He's my little Sherlock Holmes mouse to go with that first mouse with the mustache. And this day 27 was my favorite mouse of the whole thing. And also one of my favorite animations for the whole thing. So I thought, oh, look how cute. And I thought I want this mouse to really come alive. So I took a picture of this leaning against my laptop with part of the keyboard showing. So the keyboard was right here. Well, you'll see in a minute. And I asked AI to have the mouse come off the page and stand on the keyboard and then run off. And AI not only had the mouse come alive and come off the keyboard, he also brought his onion, which is hysterical. So yeah, this was my favorite painting and also my favorite animation of the series. And also ironic that I wanted the mouse to come alive off the page and run through my house because now I am dealing with literal, I thought it was one mouse in my house. And so far there have been 5 mice that I caught. I'm catching 1 every day and releasing it outside. Either that or it's coming right back in and I'm catching the same mouse every day. I don't know. I guess that's a possibility. But the word was onion. And this was my favorite one. And I can't remember if I used the Winsor Newton or if I used the new bamboo set for this one. But I believe it was the new bamboo set, but it could have been the Winsor Newton. I'm sorry, you guys. My memory is really bad. Day 28, the word was skeletal. So I did this little guy in the graveyard, and he's waiting for his friend. And his friend in my mind was the mummy mouse that was also in the graveyard earlier on in the sketchbook. And I really like the way I made the fog roll in over the tombstone here. And I wanted it to roll over the mouse, but I didn't want to make it muddy, so I didn't. I wimped out. But yeah, I do like the way the fog is going over the tombstone. And he's under the lamp. Day 29, the word was lesson. I used to be a teacher. So I have a very boring teacher going blah, 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 cough, 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 and also blah. Well, this little guy is trying hard not to fall asleep, and the guy behind him is asleep. And I signed my name actually on the desk. And I always used to say, show your work when I taught math, back when I taught 3rd grade. And I drew the little cat because I'm a cat. And that's the old-fashioned school bell, or it's supposed to, with the speaker above it for announcements, and the clock. And he's waiting for 4 o'clock so he can go home and go trick-or-treating. I really like this one. I thought he was cute. I really loved his costume. Day 30, second last day, you guys. So I wanted a scene. The word was abandoned, so I wanted to do an abandoned house. And in my mind, the cemetery that we saw earlier is just past here, past that keep out sign. It's an old abandoned cemetery as well, but we can't see it. So I did a spooky scene, and I did the skeleton mouse and the mummy mouse, but I did them more cartoony because I don't know if you could tell how small this book is. Here's my hand. Here's my thumbnail. I can cover this mouse with my thumb. So my eyesight's not good. I have since got new reading glasses, but they didn't come in time for me to do this. So here's my baby finger. These are really small. So I didn't want to do too much detail, but I'm happy with how it turned out. AI had a hard time, and it was my fault because I added the tail to the mummy mouse last, and it looks like the tail is in the pail, and AI kept putting the tail in the pail. So when they turn around and walk away, this guy is like carrying his tail in the pail. So it's hysterical. I'll show you the animation anyway. So I like the way this one looks. And the last day was award. So I went back with the Halloween theme, and they are having a Halloween party, and they're doing a best costume contest, and there is a nice award that someone is going to win. And just so you could see how small these little mice are. So I couldn't put a lot of detail. There's my baby finger, you guys. See, these are super tiny. Like her little face and her heart. It was really hard to get any detail in, but I tried my best. Like, there's my thumb. It looks huge next to them, right? You can see the pumpkins are small. And I did some lights. Yeah. So we have some of the costumes from before. There's the wizard one, the pumpkin one, the mummy one, the queen, some ghosts, and the skeletal one is taking the photo in my mind. So I asked AI to have them excited about who's winning the prize, and the teacher or the adult is giving out the prize. And I asked for the bat to fly, and AI added some extra bats, but that's okay. And that's it, you guys. And I only had 4 pages left, because this page isn't a real page. There's a little pocket at the back. So I probably won't be finishing this because this is just for Inktober. But anyway, that is an intro to my channel and a little bit of what I've been doing. This is not my normal art style. This is specifically just the Inktober art style that I've been using. I just find it's best to do it cutesy and fun so I can get through Inktober. I don't really have a style yet. I'm just trying all the styles. But I guess if I did have a style, it would be something like this. Because this is what I gravitate toward when I'm not trying to do an actual, like, landscape painting. So, yeah. But anyway, I was really happy with this set. It was a lot of fun. It's not the best quality paint, but it's fine for a sketchbook, which is what I needed it for. And I have lots and lots of paint material. So let me back you up here a little bit. So out of all these 3... I would say if you had to just choose one, I would go with the Winsor Newton, just because these are more light fast. I don't know if the Inktense is more light fast, but these are no, they're not Inktense. I'm sorry, I keep saying Inktense. They're Graphitint. The Graphitint ones are beautiful. If you could afford 2 sets, that's a nice combination. But I have lots of other sets. I would say my favorite ones of all are the Paul Rubens paints, because they're inexpensive and they're supposedly professional quality and they're light fast, but I will do a review on those another day. It's just that this is the most recent sketchbook that I finished for Inktober, and I wanted to show you. And this is the newest paint set that I bought off Amazon. I am a sucker for trying new things, and it's really great if you just want to paint in a sketchbook. So it does fall out, as you could see, but look how much you're getting, and these colors are fun. And you're getting neon and metallic and regular and pastel. And yeah, I had a lot of fun painting with these. And also, I don't know about you, but because I'm not what I would consider an artist, I feel more comfortable working with cheaper supplies because I don't feel like I'm wasting something. I have a set of paints that I won during my first year of doing World Watercolor Month. And they're paints that would normally cost over $300 Canadian, about $360, I think they said it was worth. And I hardly ever use them, even though they're beautiful, because I'm like, well, I'm not good enough yet. Let's save them till when I get better. But, you know, I should know by now I can use them because it takes a lot of time to go through watercolor. It's not like acrylic or even gouache where you use more. Yeah. Anyway, so that is it for my sketchbook tour and for my intro to the channel. And I'm really excited. And like I said, I'm hoping to get at least 1 video up a week, but up to 3, but no more than 3. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, I will try to come out with a schedule. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for spending time with me today. I hope you like this. Let me know in the comments what you thought. I know a lot of you, if you are artists, you don't like AI. But I think it's a fun tool for animating your drawings when you have like little cartoony drawings like I did. I had so much fun animating them, you guys. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you did like that, please take the time to give me a big thumbs up. Hit that like button, the subscribe, the notification bell. All of those things really will help me as a new channel, and I really appreciate it if you would do that. If you want to see more of my art or any of my crafts, go on over to Crafty Kat. I've got lots of videos there. But from now on, all of my art is going to be right here on this channel. All right, guys, thank you. Take care, stay safe, and have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.